Hello, welcome back. Today I have for you a makeup inventory check-in. Inventory, I never know how to pronounce that word. I have been keeping track of how many makeup products I own and all the different numbers in each category for about a year now. So I started this January last year. So I have made two other videos. I did my January video and then I did a 6-month check-in. And this is my kind of 2020 end numbers and what I'm thinking about for my collection and my numbers during 2021. I'm gonna try and keep this video as short and concise as possible because I know in my last video I rambled a lot about individual products and it just was confusing and probably not that helpful for people. So we're going to try and keep this much more concise. Please do let me know by giving this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy these videos. If not, I will just continue kind of doing my inventory off camera and not filming it because there's no point in, you know, filling you guys in if it's not something that you're that interested in watching. So let me know by giving it a thumbs up if you do like it or just letting me know in the comments what you think of these videos. But I thought it would be helpful to at least round this year off. I really like watching these videos, so I thought it would be a nice way to kind of check back in, finish the year, and we can kind of just go from there. So I'm going to run through each category, how many products I have in each category, and then whether I feel like that's too much, too little, or if I have room to grow. Spoiler alert, I am fairly happy with where my collection is at the moment. It has come down from where it was in January, and that's because I've either decluttered stuff or used stuff up. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting with foundation, I have come down to 4 out of 5. I started last January with 4 foundations as well. I went up to 7 foundations in June time and I've decluttered a couple and I've come back down to 4. I've given myself a limit of 5 and I think that's about right. I'm about to finish up 1 foundation, so I know that will bring me down to 3. So I feel like 5, I feel like that's a good number. For primer, I am now at 2 out of 2 primers. I don't use primer all that much and I really like the primer that I have just bought, but the other primer I was really enjoying, but it's more of like a gives your makeup longevity primer and I just haven't really used much of that this year, so I might declutter it just because I'm wearing less makeup in COVID. I'm not going out, and if I am wearing makeup I'm not wearing it for like a long period of time, so longevity isn't something I'm that worried about. But I might keep it around just in case I do want it. So I am at my limit for that. I don't feel like I want any other primers right now, but we'll see how that goes. The face powder category, I am now at 2 out of 2 powders. So for the whole year I was at 1 out of 2 powders. I had my loose powder and I have just bought a pressed powder, which I'm sure you will see in an upcoming video because it's something that was on my wish list for a while. I'm at my limit with that, but I don't feel, powder's not something that hugely excites me. I do like having a loose and a pressed option so I can kind of decide if I want to wear it, which version I want to wear, but other than that I'm not super like crazy about powder, so I feel like that limit is fine. I don't need to up it to 3. Concealer, we are now at 2 out of 4. So concealer, I would say, and mascara are definitely the things that I use up the most frequently, so I do kind of cycle through concealers fairly regularly. So I was at 4 out of 4 in January and 4 out of 4 in June as well, but a couple of those from January to June had already been used or had like dried up and I'd replaced. So the same again, I'm now at 2. I have bought 1 more concealer since June, but otherwise I've brought my collection right down just because I've been using them up. So I do have room to try more concealers in the coming months if I want to. I'm happy with the one that I'm using now, but room to grow, which is great. For blush, this was the category in June where I was like, my blushes are overwhelming me. I have too many, I don't use enough of the ones that I have, and I don't really feel excited by the ones that I do own, like a lot of them. Some of them I love and I just gravitate towards them over and over again. So I was at 8 blushes in January, I then came down to 7 blushes in June, but still felt overwhelmed. And now I'm at 6 blushes. So I haven't really done that well in decluttering, but I also haven't bought any new blushes since June. So I haven't grown my collection. And I do feel like there's probably still room to declutter. I want to try and use up more of the blushes that I have before I buy any more. So we'll see how it goes with blushes. I'm feeling a lot more happy about my collection. And this does include creams and powders in one category, by the way. I have 2 cream blushes and then the rest are powder blushes. So yeah, I feel okay about it. I would like to use up more of my blush collection. But there are also some colours that I feel like I'm missing in my collection. Like I would love like a hot kind of orangey, terracotta-y type colour blush, and I don't have one like that. So I probably will do some research on those types of shades this year. Bronzer, I am at 4 out of 4. So I do have my limit in bronzers at the moment. 2 of them are cream contour like sticks, or like bronzing sticks, and then 2 of them are powder blushes. I feel pretty happy with where I'm at with my bronzers. I did just buy one a month or 2 ago that I'm, you know, getting used to still, like how I like it and stuff. So I don't really feel like, oh, I need more bronzers. So again, I feel like the limit for bronzers at the moment is enough. I don't want to increase my collection, and I would probably try and declutter one or use one up before I bought another one. For highlighter, I'm at 7 out of 7 highlighters. Now I would say, like, out of everything, I think highlighters is one of the things where I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I'm like feeling like where I was with my blush collection in June with my highlighters now, because there's quite a few that I just keep because I like for certain looks, and I like because I've had them for ages and I haven't found anything quite like that. So for example, Balm Mary Lou or Becca Opal, I really love, and I've just got a mini one that I just break out for certain looks and certain occasions, but they just don't get a lot of use. And I feel like they just sit there year after year, and maybe I use them like a couple of times in a year. So I don't know where I'm at with my highlighters. I really love probably like 2 or 3. I will cycle kind of using them really regularly, and then the others just kind of don't get much love. I might need to like properly declutter some of my highlighters. The good thing is though, I don't really feel like a pull to any particular new highlighter that I really want to try. So for eye primer, I did have 2 at the beginning of January. I decluttered one because it had kind of dried out, and I'm now at 1, and I've stayed at 1. I have the same one that I did last year, and that one works fine. I rarely wear eye primer, but it is useful to have one in your collection if you ever do want to use it. And then for single eyeshadows, this is definitely a growing... Well, I actually have decluttered a lot of my single eyeshadows since last year. So I started in January with 11, I then went down to 8, and now I'm at 6. So I have just decluttered quite a few that I just don't get a lot of use out anymore. But it is a category that I have a few on my mind that I want to try and test out different formulas and stuff. So I probably will grow this collection. I have 6 and I can go up to 10, so I could get 4 more, and I think that's plenty. And then eyeshadow palettes, so I'm including like mini palettes or quads and larger palettes as well. I have just decluttered a few. So palettes is the thing where if I was getting PR, mostly I would get a palette, and I don't use palettes all that much. I tend to use smaller palettes if I do use any palettes. I don't really use the larger palettes. So I have decluttered now quite a few of my larger palettes. I just kept ones that I like to have for a certain type of look, or I know I have used recently and I enjoy, or I haven't got much use out of yet because it's fairly new to me. I am at 9 out of 8, which is not ideal. So I might up my eyeshadow palettes category to allow myself for 10 palettes, because I am including like smaller quads as well as larger eyeshadow palettes, and I'm not planning to buy any more large eyeshadow palettes because I just don't get enough use out of them. I just don't gravitate towards them. I forget to use them, if I'm honest, and I tend to go for either single shadows or the smaller like quads. In other categories I've kind of brought down my numbers, so I feel like there is the potential for eyeshadow palettes to go up from 8 to 10, as I say, so not loads, but just gives me a little bit more leeway, and then I'll probably end up decluttering some more, I'm sure, before June. So for eyeliners, I haven't bought a new eyeliner in well over 12 months. I have the same two that I started with in January last year. I have one kind of crayon eyeliner, brown crayon eyeliner, and one liquid black eyeliner. I honestly never wear eyeliner. I just forget to put it on, and if I am gonna do some kind of line on my lashes, I will just use a deep eyeshadow on a liner brush and smoke out my like top lash like that, and then bring some shadow underneath as well. I don't get excited about eyeliner. I think I would like to replace my kind of pencil eyeliner now though, because I have had it for quite a long time and it's probably a little bit gross to be putting something that old on your eye waterline. And then for mascara, again, this is the one that I kind of cycle through pretty regularly. So I do actually have 4 mascaras at the moment. 2 are unopened, and then I have 2 open. One's a brown mascara and one's a black mascara at the moment. So I feel okay. I probably will up my limit there. At the moment I have 3 as my limit and I have 4 mascaras, but I probably will up my limit to 4. I don't want any more than 4 because I know I will use them, but I don't want to be like having loads backed up in my collection to work through. My cat has just joined us. Hello, say hello. No? Okay. Okay, so brows, I have 1 brow product. I'm pretty happy with keeping 1 brow product in my collection. I don't get that excited about brows, but I am nearly at the end of my brow gel. It's the Charlotte Tilbury brow gel, and I probably will replace it with something else just because I like to try out different things. But that is the best brow gel I've tried so far. I probably would, if I wanted to keep that one in my collection, I probably would up. Oh no, my brow goal is 2 anyway, so I can have another one and keep that Charlotte Tilbury one because I do really love the Charlotte Tilbury one. So for lip liners, I actually did declutter a couple of lip liners recently. So in January I had 5 out of 6, that then went up to 6 out of 6, and now I'm back down to 4 out of 6. So I do have room to grow my lip liners, but I might actually bring that number down because I don't really care about lip liner. I have one that I love and that I use all the time if I want to wear it. Most of the time I'm not wearing lip liner at the moment because COVID and masks, etc. I tend to not wear lip products in general a lot at the moment. For lipsticks, I have actually decreased my lipstick collection quite a lot. So this is just bullet lipsticks, and in January last year I had 17 out of 20. I then brought that down to 15 and now I'm at 13. So I'm pretty happy with where that is at the moment. I do think there's room to grow. I would like to do a lipstick declutter though, a lip product declutter in general, because I do feel like a lot of my lip products they're quite old. They don't get use at the moment because there's not that much opportunity to wear lip products, and I just feel like the whole collection needs a bit of a refresh. So I might do a big like declutter specifically of lip products so that I can kind of really reduce my collection down and start building it up again, because I feel like a lot of the lip products are very old and I haven't used them in a while. So for liquid lipsticks, I do have 4 out of 5. It was at 4 out of 5 this time last year. It went up by 1 and now it's come down. Honestly, this is like one of the things that I could just declutter all of my liquid lipsticks and I wouldn't miss any of them. I like using liquid lipsticks sometimes for a certain occasion, but there hasn't been an occasion where I wanted to wear it this year because of wearing less lip stuff. So I feel like they are just something that I could phase out completely of my collection now. And then for lip gloss, now this one is like, I love lip glosses so much. I definitely would never phase lip glosses out, but they have kind of gone up and down throughout the year. So I started January with 12 out of 15 lip glosses. I then went up to 14 in June, and now I've come down to 13. So kind of fluctuated there. I have allowed for 15 lip glosses, so that would allow me to buy 2 more glosses. I think I would want to declutter some of my other glosses though before I bought another gloss, because do I want to yeah, there's a few lip glosses in there that I could declutter that I just don't really get much use out of. So yes, I would like to experiment with more gloss formulas this year, so let me know if you have any recommendations. And then for setting spray, I have 1 out of 1, and I've kept it at 1. I have switched out my setting spray over the year though, so I've always had one from last January to this January, but I was using a different one. So I was using the Cover FX Dewy Spray, and I switched it out for the Pixie Glow Mist, which I prefer the Pixie Glow Mist. So I'm nearly at the end of that one, so I probably will repurchase the Pixie Glow Mist, to be honest. I'm not super excited by any other setting sprays that have come out onto the market. So that one, I really love the formula and how it looks on my skin. That's not really a setting spray, I just class it in the setting spray category. It's much more of a glowy spray. It's not really gonna like set your makeup and make it really long lasting, but I just class them all in one category. So after all that, the final total number of products in my makeup collection is now sitting at 85. So I had in January 93, I then went up to 95, and I've now come down from June. I've come down 10 products, either through decluttering, I had a pretty big declutter when we moved house, to be honest, or using up products and finishing them. So I have given myself up to 107. I've said like around the 100 mark is where I kind of want to cap my collection. And just for my personal use, I do YouTube as a hobby, so I do have more makeup products than the average person who doesn't do YouTube, but I don't have as many as people who do YouTube as a full career and make testing videos and review videos, and they just have to have a lot of different formulas and options to compare. I don't really do those types of comparison videos all the time, so I do want to keep my, just for my personal use, I want to keep my collection manageable, and about 100 products is where that's at for me, just mentally, where I can like remember all the things that I have. So I'm happy with where I'm at. I've obviously brought it down a fair amount, and I have quite a bit of room to play with this year. So I've got 15 products to play with until I get to my like 100 mark, where I'm a bit like, ooh, and then my max number is 107 products. I'm not really worried about going over those 107, but yeah, it's good to have that upper limit in there, so you know when you're really getting like way too much, Joe. So yeah, overall I have found keeping an inventory of how much makeup I'm owning has been really helpful this year, just to keep a handle on it, make sure that I'm using up as much as I can. I don't do like a tally of what I use every day or anything like that. I know some people do find that useful, but for me that would just be too much like day-to-day management of like what I'm using. So I find these like 6-month check-ins helpful for me, and that's kind of enough. I have also set a pretty tight beauty product budget this year, so hopefully that will also help to keep a cap on how many products I'm acquiring in my collection. But yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of makeup that you own, and you kind of think, there's so much waste here, and these products are going to go bad before I can even use like 20% of what I own, then I definitely really encourage you to maybe do an inventory and just work out what you have, what you love, and what you want to keep, and maybe what you don't want to keep, and then every 6 months check in, every 3 months check in if you need to do that. But it has really helped me. So yes, I'm excited about this year. I have a few ideas for products I want to buy, and I definitely have the room to grow in my collection. So yeah, let me know if you enjoy these types of videos, and leave a comment down below on whether you have started keeping a makeup inventory or if that's something you even need to do. I would love to hear what your experience of doing it has been. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you do want to see more from me in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.